Everyone, welcome back to Getting Technical. Here with Burke and Sam. I don't know when the last time Sam was on. I know you were on with Zach maybe a month and a half ago. I haven't done a podcast in a month, so the entire month of July didn't do one.
Yeah, been busy.
So, there's just nothing. It's kind of like there's some NBA news. There's like occasionally some football news. There's baseball, which we don't talk about.
I would love to talk.
Really, the Monday after.
Burke, is your
Exactly,
mic
that's
off?
what it is.
Oh.
I think you flipped it off by accident.
Oh, okay. Was I?
It was on.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how
long I've been off.
Because I checked all of them, and
I don't know. Yeah. Hopefully, I haven't been off that long. I've just been sitting here talking like an asshole.
I mean, it's not a big deal.
It's not as bad as me. I remember we did one in my
We could just
backyard.
cut out all this baseball talk.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Dude, I remember in the beginning.
I'll look
Remember
at
I
it, and
did
if
that?
it's bad, then I'll cut it. But if not, I'll keep it.
Remember I did that when we were doing it in my backyard.
You guys did like a 2-hour podcast or something.
The entire time my mic's off. Not the entire time. We took like a break halfway through, and I guess when I put the mic down, it turned it off. We come back, and the next like 35 minutes is just all dead air when I'm talking.
That's awesome.
You just
That's
hear me
just the
echoing
life
in the
of
background.
doing podcasts, bro. It's like
just something like that.
No matter how often you do it, at some point, I feel like something is just always bound to go wrong.
Yeah, unless you have like a legit setup.
Yeah.
In like
I was just
a
like looking at it, and I
separate
see
room.
Sam's bouncing. I'm like, wait, is Burke's bouncing?
All right, we want to get into this top 100.
Yeah, let's get into the top
let me just
100.
reset it first because there's only we've already.
Jalen Ramsey was at 25 and Sauce was at 30. Quinnen's at 37.
Jalen Ramsey.
Quincy was at 32.
Quinnen was
And
37.
Yeah, and Sauce was at 38.
Quinnen and Quincy were in the 30s, right?
Yeah.
They all three of them were. Sauce at 38, Quinnen at 37, and
Quincy
Yeah.
was at
32. Yeah.
I mean, Quincy had a phenomenal year, but like Quinnen is another guy, top 3 at his position.
Yeah.
So I mean, we can talk those 3 guys right off the rip.
Yeah, there was a lot of backlash when the list came out. I mean, if you just go on Jets Twitter, you see all of just, especially the Sauce one was the worst one, considering they're the best player in your position.
Look at this. Like, Sauce Gardner is one behind Burrow, who missed 7 games last year.
All right, don't even look at that. You see the number?
Burrow isn't even he's not the best player at his position.
Okay, but look at the number beneath.
15. He was
15 ranks lower than he was last year.
Well, let's
so
start.
he was whatever that is. He was fucking.
He was 23 last year.
23 last year,
And now he's at 38.
and all he did was have a better year.
All he did was have a better year. He was an all-pro. He was widely regarded as the best cornerback all year last year.
There's really it's
Sauce.
really just like if you see all the things like ranking cornerbacks, it's most of them have him at number 1, and like the rest of them have him like 2 or 3.
Who?
Sauce.
Like people like when they ask
they
ask people to like rank corners, it's just like it's like Sauce is number 1. It's like him or Surtain.
Well, there.
And it's
Yeah.
just like a lot of it is Sauce.
And Jalen Ramsey was ranked at 25. Which, like, Jalen Ramsey is great, but he's on the back end of his prime.
Right.
And he's
This is a guy in his about to come into his 3rd year.
Well, did you see this?
He's only he went from defensive rookie of the year to even having a better year.
Well, in the middle of July, ESPN talked. They did like a poll with executives, scouts, coaches to rank the top 10
Sauce
cornerbacks.
was number 1.
Sauce was 3, and there was this report that came out that one, of course, anonymous NFL executive called Sauce Gardner the most overrated player in the NFL, and he said he was quoted, "You can call holding on him every play." But to me, the thing is, like, guess what? They're not calling it, and they call holds quite often.
They call hold on every offensive play.
You can call a hold on every corner. If you watch full game tape, you can call holding on them every single play.
He just plays physical. Am I wrong? I'm not as well versed in football as you guys.
No.
The first 5 yards, you're allowed to.
You're allowed
contact.
Yeah, I mean, as long as the ball's not coming his way,
yeah,
you're allowed contact.
And that's kind of what Sauce does. He plays to his advantages. Like,
Listen,
he's strong, he's long, he's able to.
I was trying to hold it back because we were on the podcast.
You know what I said? He's
damn.
strong, he's long. Like,
Hey,
he's kind of blowed up the tongue.
Double down on it.
Boys
Hey,
coming. Them young boys coming.
No, but yeah, he's a strong physical like corner, and he's gonna take. That's his advantage. Like,
It's like it's once
you
again
know?
the guy is he's being left out there on an island by himself. It's like watching Revis. Like he's running routes for guys. Like are they giving him the benefit of the doubt on some calls? But it's like you're saying, they're also just letting these guys sometimes play more physical matchups. It's just like
the one thing, like the difference between Sauce and Revis was a lot more physical at the line of scrimmage, and that's what made him so effective. And like you said, he basically ran routes for the receivers. The thing with Sauce is, he's long, but he also recovers so damn well. He could be 5 yards behind the wide receiver on a slant route, and he'll be able to still break up the pass.
But the thing I'll give with Sauce is that Revis was so good also because the Jets safeties were also so good. Like having Jim Leonard and Kerry Rhodes, and then Landry and guys like that. Like there were
Eric
good
Smith.
coverage. Yeah, Eric Smith, good coverage safeties. Like their safeties aren't as like a good coverage wise as they were with Revis. So that's what, to me, it even heightens Sauce's abilities, because Revis always knew, he's like, if I go for the ball here, I jump routes here, I have good help over the top. Where Sauce doesn't really have that great help over the top like Revis did. I mean, he has great help across from it with DJ Reed.
And another thing,
Bryce Hall comes in, he's good, but
but that only helps you. Bryce Hall only helps Michael Carter. Michael Carter.
Oh, what is Bryce Hall? Is he?
He's a backup corner.
Bryce Hall played a lot last year.
Michael Carter's the nickel corner that they use.
Bryce Hall was their fourth
corners, honestly.
Michael Carter was the PFF like number one ranked nickel corner. So it was like, and DJ Reed is like he was like top 10 ranked corner, and Sauce was PFF number 1.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
So, but these are his stats from last year, Sauce. So Sauce Gardner was targeted 57 times last year. He allowed 366 yards and 2 touchdowns. I mean,
you can't get much
really
better than that. Yeah, no, you really
and
can't.
I'm pretty sure one of the touchdowns was Tyreek Hill.
I think the other one might have been CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, two of the top 3 wide receivers in the league were the ones who scored on.
But I mean, it's also,
and he was in man coverage.
And another thing is he doesn't get a lot of picks. He doesn't have the greatest hands. Like, he drops a lot.
But that's why he plays defense.
But he also doesn't get a lot of balls thrown to him.
Yeah,
get
57 targets over 18 games, 17 games. Like,
and just because it's a target doesn't mean
400 yards. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, and does it show how many catches off of those 57 targets, or it just shows the targets?
Oh, well, he also had 31 pass breakups and 2 touchdowns. Oh, wait, with 31 pass breaks and 2 touchdowns allowed over those first 2 seasons.
No, he allowed 57 catches.
Yes,
he allowed 57 catches. The next
sentence is he has the coverage production with 31 pass breakups and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, 31 pass breakups. So at least that's.
I think
at least 90 targets.
If I'm reading this right
there,
he's only allowed 2 touchdowns in his career in the first 2 years.
So that means he
may have not allowed a touchdown in his rookie year. I'm not sure.
I think
there was one in his rookie year that got. They said it was against him.
It was his side of the field.
It was his side of the field, and I think, like, based on the coverage, he was just close enough where they considered him to be the one that gave up the touchdown. Even though you saw after the play, he was talking to the safety and saying how the coverage was supposed to shift to him. Yeah,
I remember that one too.
That was early in the year. That might have been week 1, but I know it was early in the year.
Yeah, I mean,
because that was the talk going into it, how he never gave up a touchdown in high school and college, and then he gives it up in like the first 2 weeks, and everybody's like, "Oh, he's overrated. Like, you guys drafted him 4th overall. It's so dumb. Like all this," and then he just shuts everybody up continuously after that.
Well, like, to me, this is where, like, all these lists at the beginning of the year, they're clickbait. Like, let's be honest. But the fact that, like, Sauce is 38, and then you've got Deron Bland, Quincy Williams, who I love.
Deron Bland, because he had 9 picks or something last year. Maybe
Jordan
even 11.
Love,
because he led the league in pick sixes.
Allen, Tua, and Quinnen Williams are the guys ahead of him.
Right.
So it's Sauce Gardner's 38, then you got Quinnen, Tua, Josh Hines-Allen, Jordan Love, Puka, Quincy Williams, and Deron Bland. I just, like, genuinely do not believe any of those guys are better
at football.
Than Sauce Gardner.
The only other person that you could argue is Quinnen, and I think he had a career high in sacks last year or something like that. He had one of his best years last year, I think.
It was the year before. He had a really good year last year, but I don't think sack production, I think.
Either last year or the year before, he had like 7.5 sacks, which was his career high.
That was 2 years ago.
Okay.
And that's why we gave him the contract.
Right.
But, like, still, like, Quinnen Williams is like a top three D tackle in the league.
Yeah, the only other options, I guess, would be
Chris Jones
and I can't even think of another defensive tackle that would be comparable to Quinnen.
And
I mean, people bring up like Dexter Lawrence and Christian Wilkins, which like they're phenomenal.
Great. They're great, but like they're all right there. Yeah, you had 12 sacks 2 years ago. Last year you had 5.5.
Okay,
but I mean, it's just like also they have guys now on the outside to get sacks for them. But that's besides the point.
Speaking of on the outside, I mean, when is this Tom Reddick thing going to get figured out?
If he doesn't play a snap for the Jets, just the most Jet move. Like,
is
right
that
there.
is that worse than the Anthony Barr one? when we signed
when we
him, and
had
then he
him,
said
he
no,
backed
and then he
out.
backed out. Yeah,
Backed out of the contract.
I don't know what's worse.
I remember we signed him, and I was like, I didn't actually want him. I was like he was another one of those guys where it's just like for like a good stretch of years, we were just like, oh, like we have leading the league in pressures, but like we're nowhere close to getting sacks. And Anthony Barr was another one of those guys where like he gets a lot of pressures, and then it was like 5 sacks, and that's why I did not like the Carl Lawson move.
Well, the thing with Carl Lawson, there was so much upside because he was only 25 years old coming into it, and then he tore his Achilles.
Like another guy where it was just like, oh, he gets pressure. I'm like, great. He's getting pressure while he still completes a 40-yard pass downfield.
Right.
And it was like, it didn't matter. So I was like,
right. But I think the biggest thing when we were bringing Anthony Barr in, there was so much hype around the fact that at the time, I didn't want Adam Gase. I kind of was just like, whatever. We got a guy who supposedly is an offensive guy.
Oh my God.
But
thanks, Peyton.
adding in Le'Veon Bell on top of that, C.J. Mosley, and then getting Anthony Barr, like we just thought, like the defense was just going to take another step up, and that was Quinnen's rookie year.
Sam Darnold was supposed to be the guy.
I don't even know if he's going to be the guy in Minnesota.
No,
I mean, between him and J.J. McCarthy.
I don't see how he is. I mean, J.J. McCarthy is just a born winner. He really is. The guy just wins. I don't care what you say about him. Guy wins.
So you're in on J.J. McCarthy.
But I don't know if it's a good idea. Like, I think they're better off just saying,
throw him into the fire.
Yeah, throw him into the fire. End up with another Zach Wilson situation where he's going to be on a team that, they're expected to win a decent amount of games, but they're not projected to win the division by any means.
Let him sit behind Sam. Because, I mean, for them to come out there and try and beat out Green Bay and Detroit, and then even potentially Chicago this year.
Yeah, we don't know what they're going to be like with that offense.
That could potentially be, like, the toughest division in football this year.
Yeah, for sure.
Because
I mean, them or the NFC West, just, simply for the fact that San Francisco, you can't count out Seattle.
You kind of can.
I mean, I think now with Pete Carroll, like, stepping back and them having a new coach.
Yeah, but I mean, they're still trying to run off Geno Smith.
Forget Geno Smith. You still have Jackson Smith-Njigba, DK Metcalf, Kenneth Walker, Tyler Lockett, Noah Fant. Like, there's still pieces there that Geno could work with.
Right, but I mean, I don't know.
And Kyler's coming back. You add Marvin Harrison into the mix for them in Arizona.
I think that offense is going to be like sneakily good because it's just like
people just forget about them. That's why
Kyler's a good player. He just needs to like kind of just play more. He just needs more time. But like, no, because like
last year, availability is the best ability.
Well, last year he was banged up, and then it was his rookie year before that. So it's just like
didn't he tear his ACL in like the last game of the season the year before, and then he came back in like week 13 or 14. Yeah. He had a struggle.
Is that what it was? He tore his ACL. I thought he got hurt mid-year.
No, he came into the season hurt, and then he was on IR.
He came back mid-year.
Yeah, he came back mid-year. Okay. That's what it was. Because I forgot who they had starting for them, but it was just like a disaster the entire time.
Yeah, wasn't it just like a carousel of fucking QBs over there?
Yeah, something like that.
Just disastrous.
So
the John David Booties of the world. You guys remember that? That's a fucking name drop right there.
That is a name drop.
John David Booty, QB from Hawaii.
Only other things I have for the top 100. I did some research on Twitter while you guys were talking.
Who are the top 5?
I don't know. I don't think that's been released yet. But one thing I don't know. You're a big Matt Stafford guy, right?
Yeah. Why? Like, who isn't?
I'm just saying because one of the things that stood out to me on the list was Matt Stafford is ranked 42nd.
They haven't released the top 10.
The players ahead of him, quarterback-wise, are Tua, Jordan Love.
I'll give you Love. I don't know about Tua. Tua and Stafford. I mean, you're going off like stats-wise, and like Tua has good stats, but he also has Hill and Waddle.
It's like who would you?
But like,
I think
Stafford
I'd much rather have Matt Stafford than Tua.
Stafford has Puka and Cup.
But like you said, availability is the best ability, and Matt Stafford.
Tua's one concussion away from retirement.
Huh? Oh,
Tua, concussion away from retirement.
No, I know.
Stafford has played through so much injury; it's insane. I mean,
but that was what held them back in Detroit. That he just couldn't stay on the field with that shoulder problem that he had when he got hurt in like.
Well, I mean, it was
right
also
2010 or something like that. Pretty good. Recently.
It's also their fault for letting him just get sacked probably the most times in the league.
Yeah, they always had the worst offensive line.
And I don't think they've announced the top 10.
No, I just looked at it. They only got up to 11, and Fred Warner was number 11.
Josh Allen's at 12.
What do you mean? I saw Josh Allen at 9.
He's at 12.
Nah, you might have looked at 20. You might have looked at last year's.
That's the thing to me. I just don't understand. Like, if quarterback is the most position in football, if quarterback is the most important position in football,
what the hell did I just?
How on earth is Josh Allen 12?
I thought
Well, what was the reason that they put in the?
Too many turnovers, probably.
But like, is there any world that a team in the NFL would rather have Fred Warner than Josh Allen? Because Fred Warner's 11.
Yeah, but like I'm thinking of it like this: like Fred Warner's the best linebacker in the league.
That's true, but Josh Allen's like the second best
Allen
quarterback in the league.
Right. So wouldn't that
That's
mean
the most important position?
So if there's there's 22 positions or whatever, like if I'm the best one at each position, like shouldn't those guys technically be 1 through 22? Josh Allen shouldn't even really be 12.
But if you're ranking players,
does a left guard equate to Josh Allen?
But that's like if we're ranking NBA players and we do all right.
I understand,
best
but like
power
because
forwards
it's such
has to be in the top
but
5.
I'm just trying to give you like the comparison where it's just like this is how I could see why Fred Warner is ranked higher. I'm not saying he's more valuable than Josh Allen, but if you're going to give me rankings, then like Fred Warner's the best player at his position. So like shouldn't he be ranked
but
like
then it's
up
not
there?
Consistent because 13 is CD, 14 is George Kittle, 15 is Jalen Hurts.
I understand all that, and I agree with what you're saying. That I'm just trying to give like
I see what you're
I'm
saying.
just trying to play the devil's advocate where it's just like like this is why Fred Warner should be listed higher than Josh
I'm
Allen.
a Dak fan. Dak at 16 is insane.
Dak at 16 is not insane.
I'm a Dak fan.
He's
insane.
It is, but it's the same Dak story where it's.
But it's like how is he?
I'm great weeks, regular season weeks, and playoff comes around, and bye. He's the same old guy every year.
And then you got Herbert at 75.
Well, Herbert was banged up a lot last year.
So, but is this not based on who they think that it's?
And the Chargers had a down year.
It's a lot of like what you did last year. I know it's player voted, but I think it's supposed to be like heavily influenced on what you did the year before that.
Yeah. Because then last year, CJ Mosley's 109 on this list.
Well, that's just ridiculous because CJ Mosley's had a phenomenal year last year. Wasn't he all pro?
TJ Hawkins is 106. Like, there's no consistency in this list at all.
I mean, he's better than Kittle. I think TJ Hawkins is
better than George Kittle too, and TJ Hawkins is 106.
And what was
George Kittle's 14.
That's insane. 14?
Well, you also got to take into account, like, people are thinking about the success that the team had. I mean, Brock Purdy was in the top 20.
Right, but if you put Hawkinson in that offense, I think they're better. I think they're better off.
Are they? They're such a run-heavy team. I would say George Kittle's arguably the best blocking tight end in football.
Hawkinson's a good blocker as well.
He's a good blocker, but he's not better than George Kittle.
But he's a better pass catcher than George Kittle.
I wouldn't say that.
I would say that.
Nah,
I would say he's a better receiving tight end than George Kittle.
TJ Hawkins is a dog. He's a top.
Right. Is Kittle, like, in your opinion? What did you say? He was 109.
Kittle's 14.
No, Hawkinson was 109,
106 or something like that.
Whatever.
Where is it?
You think he's 90 spots?
He's 106.
I don't think he's 90 spots. No. I don't think he is, but I think George Kittle overall is a better tight end.
I mean, they got Joe Flacco above Bijan Robinson, C.J. Mosley, and Cam Jordan.
That's crazy.
Wait, hold on.
Joe Flacco played 4 games. He played 4 games, right? And
maybe
the playoff.
5. I don't know.
He played 4 regular season games and then the 2 playoff games, right?
I mean,
that's kind of insane. Joe Flacco at 106, Cam Jordan at 110.
He's better than C.J. Mosley? The
list just doesn't make any sense.
That's insane.
That is insane. I don't know how Joe Flacco made the list.
But it was like even Baker, credit to him, he had a great year last year. He's better than Aaron Jones, Matt Milano, Grady Jarrett, T.J. Hawkinson, Joe Flacco, yes. Bijan, CJ, and
he's
Cam.
better than Baker Mayfield's better than C.J. Mosley.
What are we doing?
Jesus. I mean, C.J. Mosley was on a top 3 defense last year,
anchoring the top 3
the top 3 yeah. And that's another thing, like Quincy Williams is 70 spots higher than CJ Mosley. When CJ Mosley's the Mike linebacker, he's the captain of the, and did he have a better season? But did he have 70 there's 70 other guys that you could say are better than in between them two?
That's insane. I think it's tough to say. CJ Mosley, I think, is one of the most underrated linebackers since he's come into the league.
Since he's come to the Jets. I mean, the thing
is with the Jets, he got hurt his first year, then he sat out for COVID, and then back-to-back years he had over 100 combined tackles since then.
They're also not, good, so it's like nobody gives a shit.
Right.
2 years ago, their defense wasn't good. Last year, everyone was like, "Holy fuck, this defense is really good." And like we're saying, he's the centerpiece of that defense. Like, he's the captain, he's the Mike linebacker. Like, that defense revolves around him, and if he doesn't get them out and get them going, like, that defense
but
doesn't.
having importance to the team based on your leadership and your ability to call the defense is one thing, but your ability to play the position is different.
For his position, that factors in a lot. It's like being a quarterback of the defense, where it's just like, if you're not able to run an offense as a quarterback, like, your ability as a quarterback is significantly less than those guys that are like the Pat Mahomes, the Tom Brady's, the Peyton Mannings, where it's basically like, I'm the offensive coordinator. Yeah. Like, you can sit back and relax because I'm running the show here.
And I agree. I'm gonna have to change it. We got like a minute left.
All right, so
I just double check. This was tweeted 2 days ago from the NFL Films official Twitter account. So it's a real tweet that exists, which I honestly, like, as we were talking about it, I thought it was fake. I was like, did I find an old list or something?
An old list would be
that's even worse. Honestly,
that would have to be like post Super Bowl Joe Flacco being ranked higher than any.
But also guys. CJ
look, I say this every year. I think that the whole situation with the Jets, it comes down to health.
This is me. Just get reeled back in.
Yeah.
Well, it's the same thing with all of our New York sports teams. We all do the same thing every year. I mean, even Yankee fans, even Rangers fans. Blaze, I said the same thing every year to Blaze. He's rooting for the Rangers down here. I'm like, I don't really care for hockey, so like I can kind of just like say whatever. It doesn't matter to me. I'm like, it's the same thing is going to happen. They're going to lose in heartbreaking fashion. You just, I know. He lays on the couch.
I watched,
and it happens every year. It's like every New York sports team, something bad happens. The Jets, the year with Fitz, we should have made the playoffs. We lose to the bum Bills that year in Week 16, and we go 10-6, and we miss the playoffs.
Yeah,
honestly,
it's just heartbreak.
The thing is that for New York sports, there's so much hype around it. For the simple fact that it is New York, we haven't won a championship as a state since 2009. And we haven't made a championship game since 2015 with the Mets.
Probably right.
I mean, and then before that, it was only the Yankees. The Mets had one in 2000 against the Yankees, and then
the Mets haven't won since the 70s.
The Giants
think
had
about that
two.
Time though, when the Jets won. The Knicks won the next 2 years, and I'm pretty sure the Islanders were won 4 in a row that time. Yeah. So if you're living on the island,
must have been an electric time.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure the Yankees probably won around that time as well. I'd assume because it was the Yankees and they always win.
The Yankees, I think, won in 81 or something like that.
I think they were.
They didn't win the 70s, the Yankees?
I don't know. Because
I don't know about the
69's when the Jets won. The Knicks won, I believe, in 70 and 71. Might have been 71 and 72.
I'm sure the Yankees won a World Series in the 70s. I know they were bad in the 80s.
The Mets also won in 69?
Yeah, so the Yankees won in the 70s and
they were bad in the 80s.
They won in 81. I think that was the Reggie Jackson team and everything like that. Then, obviously, the Mets won in 86.
And then the Yankees dominated in the 90s.
The Islanders won 4 in a row.
I think that was the 70s though when the Islanders won.
No, they won 80, 81, 82, and 83.
It was in the 70s.
No.
Okay.
No.
You would probably know better.
Yeah.
But I mean, and then the
I mean, you bring up Blaze with the high. I'm just as crazy about the Rangers as Blaze.
You got a little autism there. That was pretty good. You in 1980, 1981.
Yeah. They won 4 straight. So as long as you knew the first year.
My dad was the one who got me into hockey, and he had to just be miserable living in Plainview around every single Islanders fan. Him and his brothers were the few Ranger fans that were there, and he was just getting abused throughout. I mean, he was just getting out of high school in his early 20s, just seeing the Islanders beat the Rangers in the play.
20s?
Huh? Just getting out of high school and then being in his early 20s.
Damn. No wonder why you're so dumb.
I think my dad doesn't really watch, but a lot of my uncles on his side grew up in Bethpage. They're big. They like the Islanders. I think it's because when they were growing up in their mid-20s, they just won all the time.
Islanders are right there.
Yeah.
And
plus the Islanders were here.
They said my dad would tell me on the milk cartons, you'd have tickets to see the Nets play when they played at the Coliseum back in the day.
Yeah, when they were
you would just get it on a milk carton and go to the game.
That's crazy. It's crazy how the world used to be.
That was just after the merger.
Yeah.
The merger was in 74, I think.
Probably.
The NBA merger, I think it was in 74.
But
it's just the Flint Tropic.
I honestly saw this.
Flint, Michigan Mega Bowl.
I saw this topic, and I thought it made these two right here about the Jets. I saw it on Pick a Side, honestly. I was listening to it recently. And more about the trust. I think to me, it's you're one of the people who always write, no matter what, you're Rodgers an MVP, I trust him. He's gotten a lot of kind of shade thrown at him. I feel like recently, this offseason. Like obviously he was hurt last year.
I mean the guy went
but
to guy went to Egypt during OTAs. He was just like, yeah, like.
But
like,
you saw the reasoning behind that, though, right?
No, I didn't see it.
I just saw him.
He had the trip planned like a year in advance before the schedule even comes out.
Bro,
you should know.
You've been in the league for 20-something years.
He did it based off of last year's time between minicamp and OTAs, and they had a week off. That's why he went.
What has
this
he
time.
been? What have you been doing since February till July? Nothing. Plan a trip then. July through February, you're done.
Well,
That's
also
it.
I'll say one
You're
thing.
getting paid
He's rich enough to be able to move the trip up a week.
What does he
He's
get
rich
paid?
enough to move the
70.
trip
Yeah,
up
once
a
he
week.
figured it, once
He
he found
also
out the
took a
schedule.
$30 million pay cut. We're gonna get mad at him for missing 1 week of camp.
I'm
That
not
means
mad at him. I'm
nearly
just
nothing.
saying,
I am pissed.
he definitely could
Listen,
have moved his trip a little bit.
Absolutely.
but it's
Unless
not-
there was some big event over there,
But
unless
it's not going
like,
to change anything. He's not even. He's
unless
probably
he
not
was
even
getting
gonna play
married.
in preseason. What does it
he's
matter
not
if he missed a
playing.
week?
They already said he's not playing.
They said that they're holding out to see about the Giant game at the end.
Yeah.
Wait, but did they? Is he officially 100% back?
Yeah.
He's a full
full?
practice.
And
Ready to go?
most starters don't play during the preseason anymore anyway,
He
because they
barely
don't want to
played
get hurt.
last year.
Dude, I saw this man throw a wide open pass to Garrett Wilson. I think he ran like an out and up, and he just fucking cooked the corner on the up. He threw a wide open pass, clean pocket. It was like one of the first practices. I was like, "Fuck, lock me in."
You should have passed to Malachi Corley in the corner of the end zone.
Oh, Super
You see
Bowl bound.
JD in the background.
Super Bowl bound. I was like, that's all it took. It took one little Twitter clip, 20 seconds of watching Garrett Wilson run a nice route, beautiful ball from Aaron Rodgers, clean pocket. I was like, I'm in, sold.
But
Super
so
Bowl.
you two both you're two of the bigger Jet fans I know. Like, are you fully convinced?
Jets are winning the division.
Are you all in on
Jets are winning the
Rodgers
whole
though? Like, you think he won't miss
Am
a
I
step
all-
and he's just gonna be like
I
his
mean,
old self?
I don't know. I mean,
Or do you think the combination of good weapons around him, good offensive line, Brees, will make it so he kind of
I mean,
is still, like, on the top?
how can it not?
is he still a top 10 quarterback? You think?
Yeah, if he plays a full season, he's a top 10 QB. Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, the guy is still like, I get it. He's coming off a big injury. He's obviously the oldest in the league, but he won an MVP 3 years ago.
Yeah,
I mean, the guy can still sling it. I mean, we like you see it like the way he just like moves around, and even in the practices and stuff like that. The ease he's still throwing the ball. It's like you don't see any like deterioration with his arm. You're not really seeing anything like going wrong with him. Like he's like doesn't look like the game is like too fast for him anymore. Like it looks like he's still one step ahead of these guys.
And the biggest thing, like they said during mini camp last year and all through the offseason, they had to dumb down the offense for Zach Wilson. So there's so many plays and so many situations that happened throughout the year that we weren't even able to see be, executed at its full capacity.
Yeah.
And having Aaron Rodgers out there, you're able to run every single play in the playbook. He's able to check to any situation that he needs to when it comes to seeing how the defense is laid out. It's
a second offensive coordinator, basically.
Exactly.
Well, I'll say one thing though: not having a plan for Zach Wilson last year, one of the dumbest things I've ever seen in a team.
Yeah, you're missing a leg like that pigeon.
That was the Mecole Hardman interview where they were like, as soon as Rodgers went down, Hackett just went like, I don't know what to do. Because
but it's
there was
you
no
have the
plan.
oldest quarterback
Right,
in
there was
football.
no plan for
you
him to
have
get hurt.
Zach Wilson. He's your backup. You did not go get anyone else. Like now they have Tyrod Taylor, great backup, someone you feel confident in. They didn't have any. They didn't even have a small playbook for Zach Wilson.
The thing what
are we doing? It
the
makes
thing
no
I didn't
sense.
like with Hackett, where it was just like, what do you mean? Like, why does the plan change? You keep telling me you have all this faith in Zach Wilson. Why
That's
does the
true,
plan
too.
change? Just do what you would have done with Aaron. I mean, you saw it with that Chiefs game. Like, if you just let him rip the ball, he was ripping the ball.
Yeah.
You don't have to really dumb it down. I think you just had to just actually show faith in the kid and not get him in 3rd and 7 every time and then and tell him, just check the ball down.
I'm not. This might be dumb, but I still think
I'm
that
not
Zach
sold on
Wilson
Hackett.
could be a serviceable quarterback in the NFL
I
in the
think-
right situation.
I
I
will
would say
for
that
our
about Sam
offensive line
Darnold
was a
too, and
joke.
he's on his 4th team.
The two of those guys were just let down by the New York Jets organization. Their careers are immensely different on 27
look
other
at Josh
teams.
Allen. Josh Allen, Sam Darnold, same draft coverage. same draft class. If Josh Allen was drafted to the Jets, he would not be Josh Allen.
And they're two of the.
He would be a bum.
They're two
probably.
very similar quarterbacks, like gunslingers, make a lot of dumb plays, but you know what, can make a lot of great plays with their arms. And Zach Wilson was just put in a lose situation where Josh Allen was just, he got built up to be better and better.
Well, all right. So you want, like, people always talk about the delusions of Jets fans and like how like we're always over the top in what we say. So somebody quote tweeted Schefter's tweet from 2017. Texas Tech quarterback Patrick Mahomes is visiting with the New York Jets today. Jets taking a hard look at quarterbacks.
Yeah, he
I
could have been
scrolled
ours.
through the comments. Somebody goes, "Why? This makes no sense." If I were the Jets, I'd give Petty a chance. Why? We just drafted Hackett this year. We shouldn't go anywhere near quarterbacks.
Christian Hackett and Bryce Petty were like, why not give Petty a chance over who's already the second best quarterback of all time? Why not give Bryce Petty a chance? This is why Jets fans are fucking insane.
Well, but
It's
even
all
though the
sports
front
fans,
office is just as
honestly.
insane because we went after a fucking safety in the top six pick.
We were chanting for Chris Streveler 2 years ago. That guy can't even throw the ball 30 yards.
I'll never
When
forget
when
that
he
throw
short
made.
on that to the tight end in the middle of the
I'll never
field.
forget that. It was like
He was
to Conklin,
15
I
yards
think.
short. I don't even
I'll
know.
never
what it was.
forget
Oh
that.
my
Like a
God.
35-yard pass. He was wide open, and he threw the
He
ball.
had to come back
He had
15
come
yards
back
to
to
catch
pull
the
the ball.
ball.
It's like, gee, and we were chanting for this guy to come into the game.
Oh my
He was
God.
getting first downs. He was just
was
full
running the
wildcat. He was full wildcat.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
So I mean, like I said, when it comes to the Jets, I think we definitely can win the division. Comes down to health. The offensive line needs to stay there. Tyron Smith they say he looks good in the.
But that's why I like the Fashanu move. It's just like,
Right, yeah, that
Smith
was-
goes down, Fashanu can just come right in.
This is the one thing about JD. Like everybody was like, "Why are we taking an offensive lineman? He's not even going to start." The
Yeah.
thing is that it builds for the future. You can always use more offensive linemen.
Why didn't we sign a quarterback? We just signed Aaron Rodgers.
Well,
It's the same, but it's the same thought.
Yeah.
Why are we drafting a tackle? We just signed, Tyrone Smith and Morgan Moses.
And another thing that
and it's the same thought.
another thing he's always done. I mean, not always, but 2 years ago, I think it was, or 3 years ago, he drafted that guy Morgan, the quarterback out of like some random MAC team.
Oh, yeah.
James Morgan in the
Yeah.
fourth round, just like a shot in the dark. Why not? He may be our
Oh,
QB2
you
just
talking
to have
Florida
somebody.
State kid?
Yeah, no, that's Jordan Travis.
No, but I'm saying, is that
Exactly.
where
Yeah, we
you-
took Jordan Travis this year in like the 5th or 6th round. He's not even in minicamp right now. He's still recovering from his knee
but
injury.
I mean, if he doesn't have that injury, that guy's like he's a day 2 draft pick. Like
He's a
they're
top
talking-
50 pick.
He's a second, third round draft pick. So it's just like that's why I love that move where it's like
Right.
if he can come back healthy, like this kid could sit under Rodgers and learn from Rodgers. Like he could maybe that might be a steal.
Right. So
It's
that's
like-
why I think that the fact that our front office is so like
Yeah.
they're so structured in the way that they handle everything and so disciplined in who they take.
What?
They don't take random chances at players. They take exactly who the team needs, no matter what the depth of the position is.
I mean, should we segue that Mahomes tweet into Mahomes talk?
Sure.
No, he's not going to win the MVP because Aaron Rodgers is winning the MVP.
Every time we do this, Burke makes a comment like this where he's just like,
There's no reason
he's just
there's-
gassing up
Yeah,
Rodgers.
he's
Why
just
not?
gassing up Rodgers. But the fact is that Mahomes is probably on his way to win another MVP with Xavier Worthy. I mean, Isaiah
Who gives a
Pacheco,
shit
Travis
who his receivers
Kelsey.
are? Who gives a shit?
It doesn't matter, but the point is that now that he has, legit
couple
top
guys,
talent
yeah.
guys at the wide receiver
just-
position, he's just gonna
It just
breeze
but
You're
through.
saying Juju wasn't top talent?
Yeah,
the fact that
top
Ju-
talent and TikTok.
the fact that Juju couldn't even revive his career with him is just like, I think that's just showing if Juju was just like,
with Big Ben and AB, Juju was elite that year.
yeah,
Who-
but
well,
I mean,
Single-handedly won me my fantasy league. Well, I had him and Big Ben. That stack went crazy every week.
Yeah,
He was great. I don't
Yeah.
know. I thought for sure when he went to.
I don't know what happened to him.
I thought for sure when he went
know.
to Kansas City, he
I
was
don't-
gonna.
like,
he was gonna have a
obviously,
career
I don't
level.
know too much about Juju, but did he drop passes? Was Antonio Brown just that good that he was just like, all right, why?
I think
why,
that Antonio Brown may
I
have
can't
been-
cover. Yeah, don't cover this guy.
I think Antonio Brown may have just been that good.
just that good.
yeah.
Like,
Antonio Brown was that good. Big Ben was that good. Le'Veon
I
Bell
know-
was
well,
that good. There
I
was
shouldn't
so
have said
many
that. I know Antonio Brown's that good, but they weren't double covering him in Kansas City or
No.
even New England.
Well,
He's
no,
not
they
getting
should-
open.
There's no
that's
reason
one of the
to.
weird things. Like I thought when Kadarius Toney went from from the Giants to the Chiefs, he was gonna go nuts.
I mean, he did
He's
pop
been
off.
horrible.
He did pop off for like the first month, but I mean,
Yeah.
other than
and
that,
I remember Travis Kelce was like, I don't know how we got him. I don't know how they let us get him. And then the next year,
I
he's
know.
on primetime dropping 8 passes in a game.
I know exactly how you got him because he sucks.
But
I mean-
I don't know.
but he's also one of those players that like they're just so dynamic. You just think that Mahomes can, figure it out and do whatever he has to do.
I mean,
Who won MVP last year?
Who won
Remember, it was
MVP last year?
between
Wasn't it
CMC?
Lamar?
Yes,
Didn't
Lamar.
he just win his second
I think
MVP?
that it's also. I think for Mahomes, he's like, it's one of those things where he kind of chilled last year. Even the year before that, he's kind of been coasting through the regular season. I think now he's probably like
they
all right,
they started off slow. Though,
Yeah,
like
like-
they were like
I
they were
think-
talking like end of the dynasty like kind
Right,
of talk
yeah.
like
he's due a regular season.
They lost the opening night game to Detroit.
yeah
Yeah.
it was a really good
But
team.
it's like
Yeah, they're
Mahomes
a
has
great
kind,
team.
kind of been chilling, coasting to the regular season. Like I think now he's gonna be like, all right, like we're winning these Super Bowls, like, but I'm not getting these. Like, let me just like. I got the weapons now. Let me go, like do my thing.
But
And, like
it's-
actually,
their division's
try
also
and put
their
up some
division's
numbers.
also a joke. So it's just like just win your division, get a couple home games, and then that's it.
Yeah, that's
so
that's
you,
a
And
good
it's
point.
like you're
that
Mahomes,
they're
so
at.
you're probably the MVP.
you kind of can coast through the regular season when 6-year games are against the Denver Broncos and the
Yeah.
San Diego Chargers, who might
And the Raiders.
and the Raiders. Like the Chargers might be the worst team in football,
Yeah.
like in a long time.
Yeah, they're gonna be rough
gonna be
next
brutal.
year.
They're gonna be
I don't
that
think
bad.
they're gonna
I
be
think
the
they're
worst.
gonna. I think they're gonna be fucking brutal, dude.
I don't think so.
Their number one is Quentin Johnson, and they're just showing highlight or low light after low light. He can't catch a ball.
Yeah,
he can't catch the ball.
Their lottery pick last year.
Yeah,
I think they're
Can't catch the
probably
ball.
like a bottom 5 team. They'll probably end up with like a top 5 pick or something like that. But there's just I don't think so.
I mean, well, I like to the point where it's like that division is horrific. Besides Kansas City, so it's like he can kind of coast through. Where it's basically it's not 6 easy wins. You're still playing in the NFL. They obviously can, but like they should be winning those 6 divisional games.
Yeah,
So it's
especially
like-
now that you
it's-
have a running back with Pacheco that can just eat up yards,
Right.
wear down the defense,
Yeah,
just
and
makes it easier.
he can also take a lot of carries and touches off Mahomes, so he's not throwing the ball 40 times a game in order to win games.
Yeah,
That's the Bills' biggest problem. Where it's like Josh Allen has to throw the ball 50 something times a game in order for them to produce, and that's why
He
it's
has
like,
to-
well, he has a lot of turnovers. Well, yeah, who throws the ball more than this guy?
I feel like I'm sure someone has the stat, but like I feel like a lot of Josh Allen's like interceptions and turnovers. Like I feel like he had like 5 to 10 arm punts last year.
Probably. I mean, he's
it's possible.
Like he makes bad decisions, but a lot of those bad decisions come when
He's just
he has no
heaving-
choice. He has to
he's
try and make something
heaving-
happen.
yeah,
he's just
heaving the
forcing
ball
something.
down the field. I mean,
Like, and they've kind of accepted it. Felt like last year, like there were a few plays where like they were just like, all right, like it's 3rd and long, or like they're down, they need something crazy, and he's just throwing the ball. He's just throwing the ball down the field, even if it's to end the half or something. Like
Yeah, it's
a
like
lot of
I have
situations like that.
One of my good friends is a Bills fan. He lives up in Buffalo, but like he says that there's so many times where Allen does make like boneheaded decisions because he's trying to fit them into such tight windows and use his arm strength. But now it's going to be even harder for him now that Gabe Davis and Stephon Diggs are gone. Keon Coleman's your number 1 wide receiver. He's a rookie. Look, Dawson Knox and Kincaid are great options, but
the tight ends,
They-
it's
tight
tough.
ends, it's tough.
running offenses through your tight ends.
yeah.
And they just
look, James Cook is good, but I don't think he's like a 1,300 yard bell cow kind of guy. He'll get
No.
he'll max out
It's-
at
it's
like
tough.
They didn't
11.
allow him to be a bell cow last year.
But they're going to need him to
Well,
this year because
yeah,
you can't run it with
I don't think
Josh
I
Allen
don't
as
think
much.
they exactly knew how good of a runner he was. I think he's obviously going to get a lot more touches this year.
Yeah.
It's just like you got to take some of the pressure off of Allen.
And I think they
That-
finally even everything out.
Like he's saying, like he's trying to fit these balls through tight coverage because he's like, well, it's second down and 10 now, so it's like I gotta get yards here because they
Yeah.
can't because they weren't just being like, all right, Cook, go get 4 or 5 yards right now and then
you,
make it
you
nice and
watch
easy.
that game against Dallas late in the season where James Cook is just running wild on what was at the time a top 5 defense in the league. Like he
Right.
was getting anything he wanted. Every run he was hitting the gap, and he was just
And they have a good offensive line, so it's just like, dude, just hand him the ball and
Yeah.
stick to a ground and pound and let Josh Allen. And then you can ground and pound and do the RPOs with Allen. Because, I mean, there's not a lot of guys, not a lot of corners and stuff that are tackling Josh Allen really with ease.
Yeah, no, you need to load the box, especially when you're within the, you're in the red zone. And he can, do power
Yeah,
QB and
it's
just go
him
up the
and
middle.
Hurts can just, like within the red zone, just hurt you so badly. But
Oh, we were
now-
talking about this in the group chat real quick. The new rules. What do you think about that? the kickoff rules, the onside kick.
It makes no sense. It's so dumb, honestly. First of all, onside kicks.
You're taking strategy out of the game.
Exactly. It's so dumb. You're taking fun out of the game too.
Right.
It's fun. It's obviously like Obi brought up that one thing from 15, or was it you who brought it up 15 years ago?
Obi brought up the Saints halftime in the Super Bowl against the Colts.
Yeah. But
and I was
it's
but
a
that's
memorable
one.
Exactly. And that's the thing. Like ultimately, no, I don't think it's going to be a big deal. But it does take some of the fun, excitement, and like kind of like like this could happen out of the game. You have to tell them. That's the worst rule to me.
Yeah,
the fact that you have to tell them they're going to do it, then you have no chance.
Well, I mean, they already had no chance when they changed that rule that you can't get a running start on kickoffs anyways. So once that happened, it was just like recovering an onside kick was like next to impossible. Right. Because obviously I'm not going to be able to run 15 yards by the time this guy kicks the fucking ball
10 yards.
Yeah. You got to hope it gets like a crazy high bounce, and when it hits again, it like, spins off.
Yeah, spins towards you, or like one of their guys.
So, but real quick before we get into that, the only other times that I can think of when, like onside kicks didn't happen just at the end of the game when, it's like a 2-possession game and you need to get the ball back real quick. There's random times in the game like Chris Boswell or Justin Tucker, like all the top kickers, would try and like fake them out. They'll fake to go one way, then they kick it behind their leg and do like kick it back the other way.
Yeah,
something crazy. But like that, like you said, that takes the surprise and the strategy out of the game because you're not able to do a surprise onside kick, or at least try to kick it one way,
like
kick it another.
It's just like you're even saying, it's like, all right, like I'm up by one score after the half, and it's like I come out with a surprise onside kick, and I recover that ball, and then I can drive down the field. Now I'm up 2 scores to start the third quarter.
Changes the entire momentum of the game.
But now it's like I have to be losing. I have to tell them I'm doing it. Wham. Yeah. It's all this nonsense.
You know what you're going to see a lot of now instead? A lot of pooch kickers. A lot of pooch kicks.
What the heck is that?
So basically, like, it's a regular kickoff, but instead of sending it to the goal line, you try and kick it straight up in the air, lands around like the 30, 35 yard line, and you have enough time for your team to run down there. Because if it lands in the field of play, like nobody catches it,
you can pick it up.
It's a free ball, obviously, so you can pick it up and get it. You just got to hope that the 2 front blockers, not the receivers back there, but the 2 front blockers are the ones getting it.
They're changing all of the rules. I don't know why. Like now, it's just like if I fair catch it within the 10. Like
it's a 20. Yeah, it's a touchback. Yeah,
it's a touchback, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
For a punt as well?
No, just kickoff.
I was going to say, if it's a punt, that is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen.
Because they were worried with all these new rules that like these guys were just going to perfect kicking that ball within the 20-yard line. And then it just would have been every time you were just starting the ball on the within the 15. So they're like, if you just call
plenty of pooch kicks, plenty of squib kicks, like a lot of line drives that they're gonna hope he's gonna hit the ground and just roll a little bit.
As a classic,
but like
Madden classic.
But
it doesn't happen
these
anymore.
rules, it's just like when you have kickers like Tucker that can place balls like that even on kickoffs, like you're punishing this guy because he's good. Yeah. Like where it's just like
it wasn't about punishing anybody. It started out because they were worried about all the concussions and everything.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't give
the NFL don't give a fuck about concussions.
They give a fuck about the money that it costs to go up against the lawyers that are saying all the CT.
Go.
Yeah, no, 100%. Everybody knows what it is. It's not a.
I don't give a fuck.
The concussions lead to those.
I think they also just want to get like Mahomes on the field. Like they don't want these big fucking returns and all that.
Well, they
nonsense.
want all these top guys on the field. That's how they market the league.
They want them on the field. They
want the great plays by CeeDee Lamb. They want the big instead of the kickoffs. They want the 80-yard touchdown run by Tyreek Hill where he runs past everyone.
Mm-hmm. Even though one of the more memorable things that happened 2 years ago in the playoffs. Damn, I look like an asshole now. I forgot who was it? Damar Hamlin. After he ended up after the whole situation that happened with him after he died and came back to life. Cut that.
Fake body. Body double.
After that whole situation went down, that wasn't the playoffs actually. That was just a Monday Night Football game. But after that happened, the week after, I think it was New England came to Buffalo.
Oh, yes,
the opening kickoff, they brought it back for a touchdown. That was one of the most exciting things that happened that year,
the Jets home opener last year.
Right, exactly.
The Jets home opener. It is fun. You're right. It is fun. So it's actually, I take that back. Fuck that. It's fun.
That's what I'm saying.
It's bullshit. It's a dumb rule.
It is. That's what I'm trying to
It is
say.
dumb.
It's a dumb rule.
Wussification of the NFL.
Well, also, but like the onside kick thing really is like they clearly just don't want the onside kick for some reason.
No, they
and
just-
that's why
at this
they're
Because they
making
don't want
this rule.
people. They don't want
They don't-
250-pound linebackers running full speed at a guy standing still trying to block him. They don't want
They
that
don't.
to happen.
They don't want kickoffs anymore. It's just they're slowly weaning away kickoffs.
You think there's a chance that one day they wean off kickoffs?
10 to 15 years probably.
I think.
You think they make any other crazy?
I think
rule
5 to
changes
7.
in 10 years.
Soon,
They're probably
pretty
gonna-
soon, it's gonna be the Canadian foot. It's gonna be fucking.
It's going to be arena
It's
football.
gonna be touch football.
It's going to be a lingerie football league.
Hey.
I
what
bet
do you
you'd
guys
love
want to talk
see
about
Vita
next?
Vea in
Oh, yeah.
the lingerie setup.
Joe Burrow and a thong, man. They get the most women viewers in the history of history.
Slim Shady.
No, they already got that
Yes.
with Taylor Swift. You just need to put her on the TV every
Oh
other down.
God, is she gonna be back this year? It's baby girl.
Yeah, she
Honestly,
is.
big shout out to T Swift. Big T Swift fan. Big.
If the Chiefs three-peat, Travis Kelce 100% proposes on the Super Bowl stage. Taylor, will you marry me?
will you marry
Dude,
me?
he may
It's
even
been
do
the
it.
best year and a half of my life.
I want my fourth ring to be you.
He may even do it opening night. If you think about it, opening night of the NFL, all the eyes are going to be on Kansas City versus Baltimore, and he does it during the coin toss. She's there to flip the coin. He does it
Getting
there.
married less than a year of dating.
Yep. Typical celebrity shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
That'll last long. We got like time for like one more segment, so I don't know. You want to talk about our fantasy league?
Oh yeah, so let's bring it up.
I mean, I did. All right. The rule change.
Fan vote.
All right, so look, our fantasy league has so many different options, and we customize it throughout the year-to-year basis, depending on how the league goes. We have 2 keepers. You're able to trade picks. Right now, we've made it to a point where you can't have more than 3 third-round picks or something like that in the first 3 to 5 rounds. You can't have
don't
more
know.
than 3
those
picks.
rules I have no issue.
Yeah,
with.
But that's what I'm saying. So it started out as that. Now it's gotten to a point where we have 2 flexes. We don't have a tight end. We were considering getting rid of kickers and
Defense.
and defense. I mean, I voted against that. The only one that I was really big on was getting rid of tight ends, because if you don't have one of the top 6 tight ends between, Mark Andrews, Kelsey, Kittle, Hawkinson, now Sam Laporta, if you don't have one of those guys, your waiver wire pick up every single week, and you're trying to, it's just a fucking flash in the pan.
But here's my rebuttal to that.
Mm-hmm.
Drafting a tight end early, getting one of those top guys is a strategy play. If you look back the past few years, a lot of the league winners were the guys who took a chance on Travis Kelce because they knew.
In our league or leagues in general?
Just leagues in general. There's a stat, I don't have it, but there was a stat that it was like Travis Kelce was on like 80% of like fantasy championship teams like 2 or 3 years ago. I don't remember what it was. Exactly.
He's a wide receiver
Yes.
essentially.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know,
but now,
but, like,
if you
how
think
many-
about it, there
how
are more
many-
tight ends ever than
how
there
many-
ever been that are
Right,
relative.
but like
relevant
how
in
many championship teams are, so obviously if he's at 80%, that means the rest of them are on 20% of the league. So if you don't have, so basically you're telling me if I don't have Travis Kelce, I have a 20% chance of winning
Yeah.
my fantasy league.
Exactly.
Strategy play.
But no,
Is
but
it a
that's not
strategy
that's not
play, or
strategy.
do I
That's just
just
getting
have-
lucky
that's
at the
one
end of the
player?
first round.
Last year it didn't happen. Doesn't happen every
Last
year.
year it didn't happen because
He wasn't as good. He's getting,
Not
but
even
people
that.
So
We
we
limit-
were one of, so our
but
league was
people
one of
took-
the 20%. We were the minority.
But people took
which is
him.
why he shouldn't want these fucking
People
tight ends.
took him in the first 2 rounds last year.
he's
They got
a-
burned by it.
But he
So last
is,
year you got burned by
he's
it.
a
The
first
strategy.
he's a first round talent.
Our
Not
league,
this year.
Look, hold on. Our league is a completely different animal, considering the fact that we're trading
just
away
saying,
Justin Jefferson and
we already
and
have
guys
2
like-
receiver spots. We have the flex. We have the 2. Now we have just another one. It's just I would have rather just got rid of it. It's just too many options at that point.
Oh, but like
No,
you're,
because
you're
then you're gonna
just,
have
It just
guys-
kills strategy, and it's like
how
this
does
is
it
my
kill
biggest
strategy?
issue with our league.
You could still
This
put
is
a
the
tight
big
end in that position.
Running backs become more valuable now because obviously
But there's
people are
not
going
as
to be
many.
drafting receivers early.
It makes depth. It makes
Here's
depth on
the-
your
this is the
team
thing
more
with our
important.
league.
That's where the strategy
This
comes
is
in.
the strategy part of our league where there is no strategy. The strategy is it's every other year. You're either one of the top 3 or 4 teams. You trade every first round pick you have, and you end up
but
with
that's-
one of the 3. And it comes down to 3 or 4 super teams, and one of those teams is going to
Right,
win.
but
every
that's
year.
why we also started making those certain amount of draft picks rules, where it's like now you can't trade your soul for
still
for you.
can.
Not as badly though,
It's
where it was
pretty-
like
you could still trade like a lot.
yeah, but like it's not as bad as it was. Where it was just like that
I'm
one
just
year,
saying,
that
at
1
this
year
point-
of Roos, where it was just like, but like next year we're
the
gonna.
worst is I think this year Paulie is the worst it's ever been. He has the most picks that anyone's ever had. I think.
I thought everybody had to. You had to have.
He has the most picks, and like he has like five or six fifth rounders. Is what he's saying.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane.
Like that, it should just be like we should change shit like that. Like I don't.
We're
wanna,
supposed to change.
I don't want to change like getting rid of kickers and defense. I think is stupid because that's the other half of the fucking game where